Me?
Like what? Don't wander off the screen.
Should do the introduction like this and then we'll move in.
Okay. Megan Hicks of Iron Far, and I'm here at the Tarawera Ultramarathon finish line. I'm with men's champion Jim Walmsley. Oh, hey.
Hey.
How's it going?
It's going good.
Congratulations on your run today.
Thank you.
What do you think?
I thought it was a well-rounded run today. It's a hard course in ways, and runnable in other ways, but happy to start the year this way for sure.
I think this is a course that has exuded a lot of mystery from runners. Wondering, what is it like running on the North Island of New Zealand? It's supposedly a fast course, but
it's
there's
deceivingly
some stuff
slower.
So
and
talk
then,
about it.
So it's deceivingly slower, as well as different sections are very independently different. So I think you need to exploit what your strengths are and try to not get hammered at the stuff that you might not as be a good at, or like I think the very rooty, rocky, there are rocks, some rocks here in certain sections. With a lot of the trail doesn't have rocks, but then when it does get technical, I don't think it's necessarily the time to fight the course.
Okay.
Personally, is my approach to it today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you feel like, well, okay, so at the elite panel yesterday, you said you're going to run 720.
Yeah.
Which I think you kind of like pulled half out of your ass.
Definitely.
You ended up running 723 and change.
Yeah.
You must feel content with how today went.
Yeah. I think 720 would have been great. Would have been kind of awesome to break 720 after pulling that out of my ass. But it's pretty close, and I think everybody appreciated the honesty, as well as talking about it, as well as going for it a bit. And it was one of those things I like threw out that it was arbitrary, as well as I haven't seen the whole course. So, but I also talked a lot about running off a feel and running content, and I thought I did that today. And 720 is pretty realistic on that course for sure.
So let's talk about how things went. From what I understand, you were already apart from the field at 1K in?
Dave Byrne ran with me first 4K.
4K.
That
was your company for the day.
Yeah, and he was kind of yo-yoing a bit because the downhills, he would fall back, and then he was a decent climber, so he'd try to catch back up.
Okay.
And then I think he was like, yeah, this might not be a good idea. So he went back into kind of the chase pack. So two things I talked about was I didn't want it to be a me versus the pack, but I kind of thought about it, and I'm like, well, screw it. Me versus the pack. And then...
Well, did you legitimately see it any other way? I mean, come on.
Well, I kind of accepted it because in so there are pre-race interviews as a panel for this, where they put all the elites, and that's my first time experiencing that. So they're like asking you pretty direct questions, and most people would beat around the bush with how they're going to do it, but the vibes I got from most of the guys was that if Jim wants to run fast from the start, we'll let him run fast from the start, and we'll have a laugh about it when we pass him. And that's just kind of me going, well, if they want to spot me time before trying to chase, I'll take that time and let you chase. And I said it in front of most people that if they want to try to chase me down, they can try, but odds are I probably won't come back. And I think I was really happy because every time I heard splits, and now what I know after the race, which is sometimes very different, it sounded like the split. I was always making up time all day, and I'm probably most happy with that.
Yeah, being able to incrementally increase your gap on the field.
Yeah.
So I think somewhere before 10K, you about knocked yourself out on a branch?
Yep. About 6 miles in, there's 2 branches around this point called Blue Lake. and the first tree branch, probably foot in diameter.
It's not like a branch. It's like a.
No.
It's like a.
Well, it's technically a branch.
Yeah.
It wasn't the trunk, but nonetheless,
A massive branch.
completely like knocked me to the ground. Hit my head, knocked me to the ground. Luckily, the lights didn't go off. My glasses and hat went flying. I got to go back tomorrow and look for parts of my sunglasses, but kind of got up, did a little like check, and started jogging again. And just kind of the more systems checks I did was things seemed fine, but then I kept saying like that hit me really, really hard, and I had some scrapes from it too, from I think falling afterwards. And then the funny thing, so there were two branches. The first one has no sign, it's just covered in moss. I think I registered it as just like leaves or something, and I didn't necessarily duck low enough. There was a lot of ducking today. And
The trees aren't.
yeah, no, we're in Hobbit land, so that's what I figured. And it's made for shorter people. And I didn't duck low enough at all. Just totally got wiped out. But then like 20 meters after that, there's another big one, and that one had a sign on it that said duck, and I think it had a little duck on it. I'm like,
You're late. You're really late.
I'm like, how about you put that on the first one, and then don't worry about the second one.
Yeah.
So kind of shook my fist at that, and then kept going and cleared that one though.
Were you lonely being by yourself for like 7 hours today?
So I say I'm getting more and more used to it, and I think I'm getting better and better at it. And then the other aspect of it is I also say I really like the dynamics when I can isolate other runners, because I also figured there might be a pack chasing for a while, but I was running well enough that someone was going to have to try to bridge it if they wanted to win, and I was feeling really comfortable. So I was like, someone's going to be lonely for a couple hours as well. And I really like running one-on-one. So if I'm by myself, you're by yourself, I think the tempo that I set is going to be faster. I'm just competitive with myself and my splits, and I'm paranoid about people chasing me, especially fast guys.
Yeah.
So I think I'm getting good at it. And embracing it in the right way.
So, I got to see you pretty much at every aid station today. You look like you may have had a low, maybe around like 57K. That was the only time that you didn't look like yourself to me. Yeah,
I think like I knew I was gonna see my crew, James Monet there, and I knew I wanted to tell him like that was just a rough, runnable section. It was the most technical part all day, and looking back at splits, I was expecting that. But I was expecting to probably make up more time than I did. I think I didn't make up a ton of time on that section. But kind of the strategy as I got going through there, I hadn't seen it. So it was just trying to not fight it and be efficient.
Like moderate yourself a little bit.
Yeah, so it goes back to I didn't want to fight the tough parts of the course and then take bigger swings at stuff where I thought things were more manageable or not as impressive splits and stuff. So, or as hard of the courses. So I just didn't try to fight it as much, and I think overall that paid big dividends late, because at the same time, I think one of my takeaways from today was that I didn't personally feel like I had lows. It was a point where I knew it was going to be slower, and I don't think during the race I viewed it as a negative.
In talking to you before the race and then listening to you talk at the elite panel yesterday, it seemed like the only thing that you were really nervous about pre-race was that if you let yourself go in some way, that whoever's having a good day behind you would pass you. Were you always sort of looking behind you, or did you ever come to a point where you felt comfortable with what's happening?
I think right from the get-go, once I started to get a gap, I kind of know the way the courses goes. There's no point looking backwards. They could be a minute behind you. You won't see them in most of the course. There's not very good views. So there's no point looking over your shoulder. But it's all in your mind. You're thinking about it. You're thinking about what are they doing. But I knew I was running well. I was beating most of my splits that I had laid out. I didn't lay out like extremely fast splits to hit. I almost think it's better to aim a bit lower for splits and to beat those, because it goes to just positive feedback throughout the day. And it's okay to be fast as long as it's comfortable and you're running within yourself.
That's the kind of question I'm trying to figure out how to ask you, is because when you look at you and what you're doing, like in the sport from like Mars distance, it looks like you're just like racing your ass off and then trying to hold on. But then in studying what you do more closely, it seems like you're just in a really like good fucking place fitness-wise.
Yeah.
And you're using that in an intelligent way, but there's just this gap between you and most other guys right now.
As an elite, I think there has to be an optimism that maybe you are better. Maybe you could be better.
The chosen one.
Some parts you have to lie to your, like, I always say, no matter how your training goes, you need to lie to yourself, ignore the negatives, they never happen, and feed off of the positive. It has to be that way. It has to have optimism to it to, I think, be able to have great days like today. But I also think talent, and younger talent specifically coming in, is changing things a bit. Of just, it's a newer outlook, and then as well as your younger guys my age and stuff, I think are more willing to challenge the status quo. And I think part of that is that, especially when I first got into the sport, you get a lot of like, well, don't start out too fast, and like you start a race and everybody's like laughing and joking and kind of getting along in the front pack. But it's like, we're in the middle of a race, like, and coming from a track background, it's like when the gun goes off, you're racing.
Yeah.
Like your first split is as fast as any other split a lot of times. So, or effort level. And you need to moderate the whole day if you want to run a great time. And I think that's exploitable on a lot of courses and a lot of racing. And I think more and more people are like, these guys are going out crazy fast. But if you moderate it right, you're going out more consistent, in my opinion. And it goes back to running within, like not overdoing it. And I think even sometimes maybe when I also kind of first started trying that, I had to find the balance a little bit, as well as the consistency of racing that there's a lot of learning experiences when I got into ultras.
Yeah.
I think a couple guys now are getting in and they're having a much quicker learning curve. Partially because I'm breaking a little bit of the trail. Some other guys are breaking some of the trail. So I think you'll see a sharper learning curve with newer people into the sport. So I think just things are evolving right now, and as well as the guys that have been in it, they're evolving with it too. The good guys then, they're not better or worse runners, but I think the mindset's changing a bit, personally.
I think there's a tendency by like the human condition to want to take what somebody like you is doing with the sport, or what a couple other guys and girls are doing with the sport, and like put it in historical context to try to make sense of it. And like, you know, people are apt to say that you're a transcendent. Like, does that motivate you? Are you internally motivated? Like, at the end of the day, what drives you to go out and run every day?
Well, I think I've like, with my background story, I think I've pointed out, like, I've tried quitting running a couple times before I found trail running and ultra running, and I can't do it.
I don't know.
Mentally healthy. I get too antsy. I don't sleep. And
running is good for your
it's a
mental health.
total coping mechanism for me, for sure, to do something.
Or
I say I'm like a Weimaraner or a Vichler or something. Like, I need to run every day. I need to get out the door and do something. And
but do you need to just exercise, or do you need to do intelligent exercise?
I think I could apply it to other things,
Okay.
and I thought about that as well when this was a problem. And it went back to running, of like cycling, triathlons. Like, you have to category up and stuff, and it's like, that sucks in my mind, that coming from running, because in running you run the time and you get a line up against the other fast guys, and it seems time wasteful to try another sport and you don't know that outcome. And I always felt like I had more to, not prove, but more ability to show, I think, than what I ran in college. Like, yeah, I ran those times, but at the same time, like, I also think I struggled with other things and stress at a military academy specifically, that I don't think I got the most out of myself. I don't think I coped with that stress particularly well. And sometimes are what they are. I'm not going to go back and break my 5K time at this point, and I don't really care to. I have different goals in running now, so it's just whatever.
Like, Western States has gotten under your skin. Is that a fair thing to say?
Well, I mean, it comes up all the time. I think I still got 4 more months now. Yeah, no, I've been counting down the days and the months, because like a year out.
Like a countdown.
Yeah, like immediately after the race, everybody's asking, and it just hasn't stopped. And so it's just, I don't mind it. In my mind, like, I learned so many positives about myself and what I have in me, and the hunger I have for that race and that distance, that I want it really bad. And so I draw just only confidence from last year off of it. Yeah, I got some making up to do on it.
I guess I didn't mean under your skin in necessarily a negative way, but like that's a race that comes to inhabit a lot of people's hearts.
Yeah.
Like, I think it has kind of caught yours.
It has. I think I'm going to take it 1 year at a time, but I haven't decided if I'm going to be the repeat Western States runner or not. The running joke last year that I was going into it is I'd love to be one and done. And that was kind of a mindset and a goal going into it. Now I'm obviously not.
Yeah.
But it's also evolved into, as things have changed so dramatically in the last year for me personally, as making running not only a priority in my life since moving to Flagstaff, but now a job, and just opportunities to come to New Zealand and run Tarawera, and invites to all these amazing races. And unfortunately I can't do them all. I really want to, but it's like, I don't know if I can do Western States in one way, but at another way, it's such a great race. There's so much publicity. There's so many great things about it, and suits so many of my strengths that maybe I should do it every year. But we'll see. I 1 year at a time with it, for sure. And Western States 2017 is the big race for me that is obsessing me, for sure. Yep. And this is the only race. I guess next month is a little vacation stuff too, but I'm doing a short race in Spain in March 19th.
Okay.
Alto Seal,
Okay.
31K, but just training through that completely. And then basically from here on, though, everything is building locked towards Western States and being ready for that, which means summer's coming and lots of suffering and training. And it's really, really nice when race day comes around, but then you get however many miles in, you're just, oh boy, like it's a completely painful day, but there's so much drive and hunger towards that race for sure.
Well, best of luck in enjoying your obsession for the next couple of months.
Thank you.
You still got to get in the race too.
I have to qualify, and what I look for. I mean, I didn't enter the lottery. I didn't apply for anything. I want to qualify.
Yeah. Earn your way in.
Yeah, I don't want to necessarily phrase it that way, but in a way, yeah. And I think generally the best races in the early season in the state tend to be golden ticket races anyways. And I love racing, so it's just, I was probably going to do one regardless, and I wouldn't be happy not being up front in one of those races either way. So,
yeah.
2 birds, 1 stone.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Congratulations on your new course record here at Tarawera today. Continue to enjoy these North Island apple ciders.
Yeah.
I should say alcoholic apple ciders.
Enjoying the ciders out here. Ciders are popular here, so I'm embracing that.
And I think all of the American contingent is migrating to the South Island in a couple of days.
Yeah, I don't think it was coordinated at all, but it seems like everyone's going towards the Queenstown area next week, so we'll probably have some sort of we should have some sort of American get-together. Although service, I only have Wi-Fi, so it's just everybody's got to wait for my Strava data for a little while from this race, so we'll see. But it should be good. Look at the last 10K.
Refreshing. When's he gonna upload it?
Mate, I don't know. And I forgot. Yeah, I didn't really send any tweets or Facebook stuff before the race. Need to get better at that. I will. But yeah, I haven't had a New Zealand update yet, so we'll see. Maybe something with hot spring or some sort of thing. And then the South Island.
Yeah, your vacation.
I need to get stuff from Matt Trapker.
Yeah.
Probably one from today.
I think he's already sent some stuff out into the world on behalf of you anyway, so.
I want to steal one. then he sends out all the good ones, and then I have to repost one because I'm like, that one's awesome.
That's the best one. Yeah.
But that's all good.
Well, maybe ask politely. He did chase you all over the place today also.
He was everywhere. I think he was getting boat shortcuts though.
We definitely got.
You did too? Yeah.
We took 2 boat shortcuts, but we still barely got there as fast as you ran.
I like making it challenging. If you're gonna run the fastest time ever, it means you're making everybody else work harder to get to every aid station faster, and my crew has to work faster. But everybody nailed it today. So.
And you made my coverage ridiculously difficult. Just saying.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I'm going to be planning for Western States starting now.
Yeah, 14 flat. Yeah. That's the goal.
Okay.
We will see. But I'm going to train for that.
Okay.
That's the time to beat going in. Another arbitrary time, I'm not.
I don't think that's as arbitrary, though.
I think it's possible. I think it's possible for me. But it's going to take one hell of a day and one hell of an effort. And,
yes. You're going to have to run faster than
I think I was talking to someone about this before this race. It's just awesome going into a race and like not playing it safe, but trying to go after that perfect race. And what's just happening more and more is I'm getting better at replicating good races, and it's just, I'll take that. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah. Well, congratulations again.
Thank you.
I'll see you in a couple of days on the South Island.
Awesome. Yep. Thank you.
Should we back away?